lads, give your heart and soul. Run lads, shoot lads, give us all a go. Run lads, shoot lads, you can do it yet. Come on Newport County, oh, bang it in the net.
Hello everybody, welcome to Taff's Word. This one is a Taff's Word on football, so this one isn't just necessarily about Newport County, this is about football and the world of football in general. And today's subject is the treatment of away supporters in the English game. Now, I'm only poking at the English game because I've only ever experienced treatment of away supporters in the English game because I follow Newport County home and away, and I've only ever seen it in the English game. I can't really comment on Scotland, Wales or any other country in world football. But yeah, so my point basically is, my feeling is the treatment of away fans in many areas of the game is extremely poor, and I think it needs major improvement. And I think it's something that people should be advocating within the game to push for, because as an away supporter, it's a great experience being an away fan. Everyone goes on about away days and how great it is, you know, to go away and follow your club. But it's not always great as such. You know, it's a bit of a badge of honour when you've had a bad experience. You know, to say I was there, at least I was there to be, to be treated that way. But no, for me, away fans shouldn't be treated that way because home fans don't get treated that way. But the big point is, it costs the fucking same for an away supporter to go to a game as what it does for the home supporter in that ground. I don't think I've ever really come across an away ticket that was cheaper than a home fan's ticket. And in my opinion, it bloody well should be, for many reasons. First of all, in a lot of places, away fans are very much treated like cattle. You know, you're sort of guided, you can't go that way, you can't go that way, you can't go in this place, you can't go in that place, you have to only go there, and we have to escort you to the ground. They escort you in, they escort you out. You know, you feel as though you've done something wrong without actually physically doing anything. So that's a start. It always creates tension when you get that kind of treatment, and especially when it's over-policed, because you do get games where it's very much over-policed, just because certain supporter groups, mine being Newport County, we do carry a bit of a reputation, but the reason being for that reputation is historical, because the likes of Annis Abraham has bigged up Newport's mob back in the day. So people expect Newport to mob up everywhere they go. Home fans like to have a pop at Newport because of that reputation. So, oh, let's have a go at Newport. You know, they're supposed to have a good mob and all that. So the reason why we have that reputation is historical, not present. I mean, you still get football violence in an element, but you tend to find that the real people involved in this kind of thing generally tend to keep it away from the football ground and away from, you know, what you call like your shirters or your family type supporter base. You know, they keep it away from that. I mean, I'm not part of that element, never have been, never will be. I don't knock that element for doing what they want to do away from the ground. I mean, if it happens in the ground or around the ground and innocent people are subjected to it, then I'm completely disagreeing with that. But because a club carries something of a reputation, even though we got a great reputation for being well behaved at the same time, people don't tend to care about the positives. They only focus on the negatives in a lot of walks of life, and in football it's very much that case, you know, massively, to be fair. So so obviously a lot of away fans are treated like cattle, which isn't nice. I've been part of that, and you know, and I know I will be part of that again further down the line, and it's wrong personally. A lot of the time away fans are subjected to poor facilities. If it's in the middle of nowhere, you know, you don't want to be having to use a local network system to get around, you know, places. If you drive there or go on a coach, what you want to do is get to the ground and watch the game and go home. But there's no facilities for people like that, really, unless you can get into the ground. But if the facilities in the ground are poor, then you're buggered anyway. And a lot of grounds do have pretty poor facilities. I'm going to name a few grounds with them types of poor facilities. There's a lot of grounds in which you're subjected to the elements. I know in Newport County there are some away fans that are subjected to the elements, but I will get to why it isn't quite so bad with us a bit later on. It's coming back to the facilities, really. So I've been to many grounds that's in the middle of nowhere, and there's not a lot you can do about that. but there should be something like, even if it's, you know, your Thunderbox type things, or Portaloos, I would call them Thunderboxes, Portaloos and things like that, for one, outside the ground by the away end. There should always be something that's vending food outside of the ground and drinks. Like say, I'm going to go on to Forest Green, which is one of the most notorious away grounds for me, and I'm going to get onto them shortly. But they used to have like a marquee outside the ground and Portaloos with a bar and food before you get into the ground, which was always really good. But not many places have any facilities outside the ground. You have to try and find a pub, but then you have to try and find one that you actually welcome into. So, oh, no away fans, no away fans. See bloody signs there, no away fans in these pubs. And then, you know, you're looking for somewhere you can go and get something to eat, and it's very sporadic. You don't know where anything is, so you have to walk around and look for it, and then something will just jump out, and you don't know where you're going or what streets you're going to head up or what kind of trouble you're going to encounter potentially going there. That's why I say outside the ground, if there was facilities outside the ground, away fans would get a better time of it, of course. Stewarding is often a lot harsher for away fans. Probably 90% of the time you'll find that the stewarding is harder for away fans. I think stewards in the away end expect trouble. I think they're briefed with the possibility that there's going to be trouble, and they're ready for it, and a lot of people crave it, because the more trouble there is, the more of them they're going to need for future games, and they're guaranteed to get their wage every single home game, and some of their mates can get a wage as well at the same time. So I think it's pretty wrong, because a lot of stewards cause trouble. Plymouth was always the worst for me for stewards, because with stewards there, they were very heavy-handed, very, very mouthy, and would often incite the trouble to have to deal with it. So they basically start a fire so they can put it out, so they can get praise for putting that fire out, but justifying that they need more firefighters for next time. You know what I mean? A lot of that. And one instance in particular where a lad just stood on his seat and was basically manhandled. He was grabbed by the neck like that and dragged backwards by someone, and a group of them threw him out. And when he asked them why, they said, because you stood on your seat. I stood on it once. You know, is that really justification for throwing someone out? Oh, but look at the way you're dressed. You know, you're obviously here to cause trouble. So it was a generalisation of the guy because he was dressed in casual clothing, basically, which is so wrong. It's unbelievable. But then we even get to the point where it's even, you know, where we can even suffer with police brutality. And I experienced it firsthand. I didn't get hurt, but I was stood right at the front, right next to people that did. When we went to Wrexham some years ago, I think it was in 2011, 2012. I think it was the 2010-2011 season. I think it was on a Sunday. We played, they let both sets of fans out at the same time. We were off outside the away end, walking up. Coaches were just there. Wrexham fans took it upon themselves to run all the way around the ground and come towards us to try and incite trouble. Police then formed the line between us, and you'd think they're the ones coming to us, face them and push them back. No, we were the away fans, so they turned to us and pushed us back. And all it took was for someone to say something, or somebody got nudged forward, somebody stepped forward, whack, baton in the face, then it just kicked off. It's always good. That's always going to happen. To the point that there was videos of the actual brutality. There was policemen kicking people on the ground, and that video pretty much went viral. And they were shouting to us. Their stewards were out there as well, saying to us, "No, you're not allowed to film." It's like, we're in the public domain. Of course we can film. There's a right to be able to film, you know. So they had to fuck off straight away. But I experienced the police brutality, and the only reason that happened is because we were the away fans. The home fans incited the trouble. The away fans got beaten for it, basically. But going back to like your poor facilities, Forest Green Rovers charges the same price for an away fan for a home fan. Every single home fan is undercover. It often rains in Forest Green, especially when we go there. The last game we went to, it rained, and we were out in the elements. No escape to anything we can get undercover. We just have to stand there and get wet. They have a very small food dispensing hut, and where they only sell vegan food. Only vegan. You can imagine if it was the other way around and it was only meat products, there would be absolute uproar. So where's the uproar? In fact, they're actually praised for it. Yeah. Lead boards in the opposite way, pointing directly at the away fans with all the climate change propaganda from that hippie fucker who owns them. And it was full-on propaganda, but get this, climate change powered by electric fucking boards. Dickhead. Yeah. So the other thing as well, we had one toilet for 1,200 people, one toilet to share between everyone. A little one as well, probably the size of my living room. Tiny toilet, big queues outside, couldn't get in for a toilet or anything. We arrived at the ground, they didn't have the usual marquee, they had nothing there. We were stood out in the wet, waiting to get into the ground because there's nothing else up there. There's literally the football ground, and there's like a 2-mile downhill walk, which means 2 miles back up to get to the game if you want to go to like a pub or a restaurant or somewhere to go and get something to eat or find somewhere to go to the toilet. So it's a crap away day, basically, Forest Green. You think with the money that they got, they could make a better facility for away fans. But obviously, that hippie bastard doesn't give a shit about away fans, of course. But there we go. Forest Green. Bastard of an away day. Same price as the home fans. Not allowed in the home bar, of course. Nope. You got to stay out in the rain and just stand there and wait until you can go into the ground with the same fucking ticket that you've paid the same money for as the home fans, who get to use the toilets, stay in the warmth and the dry, get food, even though it's only vegan, but there was still barely anything left. They ran out of food before half-time. They didn't pack enough. 1,200 fans, but they still ran out of food. You think 1,200 fans, let's get more? No. Fuck the Newport fans. As long as our fans are looked after, who cares? But we paid the same money for the ticket as the home fans. There's a lot of other grounds where you're subjected to open terraces like York, Bristol Rovers, Accrington, just to name a few for me. There are a lot of grounds where you're undercover and it's nice enough. You've got decent food vending inside. You've got decent toilets to use. Most grounds are fine for that, but in general, the treatment that you get as an away fan, especially for the fact you've had to pay for your travel there as well, away tickets should never be more or less or the same as a home fan. An away ticket should always be less. 25 quid for Scunthorpe away. Newport to Scunthorpe, one of the most expensive journeys that we're going to have all season, and they still wanted £25 for a ticket. I think they should definitely cap away tickets across the board in the EFL and the Premier League at £20, definitely. But I think there should be something with a further deduction as you go down the league. So I think in League 2, the maximum anyone should be charging an away fan is £15, personally. So this video has come off the back of somebody who basically wanted me to put something on the price of ticketing, and I thought picking on the away side of things would be a better message than going on with the general ticket prices, which I think are poor as they are anyway. Lower leagues have to be expensive or they're going to go out of business, because lower the support, the more you've got to charge them. Simple. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough money to compete. If you're supporters of that club, you should never moan about those ticket prices. But they're still getting bad. Premier League clubs get plenty of money from TV. Why do they need to overcharge their fans for tickets? They don't. They absolutely don't. In Germany, they don't do it. In Germany, they make tickets very, very affordable because they know they get the bulk of their money through TV and commercial. So there we go. Anyway, that's the end of that one. That's the end of that rant. I hope you guys agree with me. If you are a proper football supporter and you go to many grounds, as an away fan, I'm sure you would have had experiences like this. So hopefully you resonate with this. And hopefully this sends a bit of a message, or at least gets the conversation going between others to basically talk about this. And hopefully we may see an improvement in the future. Thanks for watching. Cheer for now, and as always, up the county.